Okay, so I have a confession I have to make. I am passionate about behavioral economics, and I actually put in place a survey which I presented in my TEDx talk and which I'm going to revisit today in the light of the prospect theory. So in my survey, I asked a variety of different questions going from socioeconomics to instant gratification and risk-taking. So the orange curve gives you the average response of the 200 plus respondents. And really what was most striking to me was when I was looking at the risk-taking. So I asked two different questions to evaluate risk-taking. And I saw that in the first one, about 25% of the total population was willing to take the risk. And in the second one, only about 12% was willing to take the risk. So let's try to understand why that is. So the first question, foremost, was you can either take a bet where you can win $200 or win nothing, or you can choose to win $100 instantaneously. The second bet gave you the possibility of winning $100 or losing $100, or you could choose just not to play. So just to understand this, I'm going to go into the utility theory. So the utility theory assumes that people always prefer gaining an additional dollar. So the first derivative of the utility function is positive, but less and less so as wealth increases. So the second derivative of the utility function is negative. In other words, the marginal utility is positive but decreases with wealth. So would you rather have this sure wealth with its corresponding utility, or would you rather have this uncertain wealth or this possibility of betting and obtaining one of these two states of wealth with their corresponding utility values? So when you're looking at the average of the bet, at the average utility of the bet, you can see that it's inferior to the utility gained from the secure wealth. And so that explains risk aversion, but it doesn't explain why people dislike the second bet more than the first. So to understand this, we kind of have to look into the prospect theory. Now, Daniel Kahneman received the Nobel Prize in Economics in 2002 for his work, for his extension on the utility theory, which actually allowed us to understand human behavior more accurately. One of the main differences was to look at the change of wealth rather than wealth itself. Furthermore, he explained that people dislike losing money more than they like gaining money. He also told us that he also told us that the psychological value is convex in losses and concave in gains. People are also overestimating small probabilities, and this actually explains why they're going to be buying insurances and lottery tickets. So we're going to be interested mostly on the two first points to explain what happened in the bets. So in the first bet, we can see that the expected utility is slightly inferior to the sure utility, which explains why a minority of people were willing to take this bet. But in the second bet, we can see that the gap in between utilities is much greater. And that actually shows that people are not only risk-averse, but also loss-averse. And so that actually explains why they dislike the second bet so much more than the first. Thank you.